All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of June. It's the beginning of July. The temperatures are rising, so the lake tends to slow down. With the effects of the spillway right on top of us, it's a double whammy. What we're gonna go try to do today is we're gonna try to fish the lake, the south end of the lake, the south shore, and see if we can go ahead and put some redfish in the boat. Lately, we have been finding some redfish in the duck ponds that's dumping off of Irish Bayou back into the lake. What it's carrying is a lot of black water and tons of grass. What the redfish seem to have been holding in there because there's tons of mullet in it. If you can get to these spots and you can get your boat in there and find a lure that can get on top of that grass and float it on top of that grass, the lightest thing you can get away with, you will be productive in finding some redfish. What we've been using is the DockSide matrix shad in a pearl color with a small half-ounce jig head, and we've been floating it around the rocks. Also, what we've been using is a chartreuse color with a little kale hook on it that we've been dropping in the grass. It's almost like bass fishing, right? But you want to try to use the lightest thing you can get away with to try to stick those redfish. Also, with the new tournament that's coming in from Louisiana Saltwater Series on July 23rd, it might be a good idea to try to learn some of these spots. You may not even have to leave the lake to find the fish that you're looking for to try to place in that tournament. So we're gonna jump on the boat, see if we can go find some fish, and try to get you guys tuned into what's going on.
We just pulled up in front of the rocks on the Lake Pontchartrain side between Irish Bayou and Chef Pass. It's about 4 or 5 feet deep here. We're going to start off throwing a matrix shad in a pearl color with a golden eye jig headed. It's a 5/16 ounce, 3/8 ounce is fine too. Just casting at the rocks. What's happening, as you can see, there's a lot of grass behind these rocks creating a lot of clean water, and the fish are congregating in all of the little cuts and blow throughs through the rocks and all of the points whenever that black crystal clear water comes out of that grass and all of the bait comes out. Let's see what we can do in here. Ooh, that was a good one. That was a nice red. Even with the spillway open, guys, they got plenty of different kinds of fishing to do right now. I mean, the trout fishing's been pretty complicated, pretty hard. A good day for the trout, a good day's only been 15 or 20, which is usually some of our tougher days this time of year. But you just go with what you got, what the lake offers you. With all of the fresh water, what's going to happen is it's going to make that grass really grow, and grass is great thing to have for when you're red fishing. Like I said, the trout fishing's been kind of slow, but the few we're catching are big. We just weighed one 8.14 pounds at the marina last week, so I mean that tells you right there there's still, if you want to look for some trophy trout, there's still, you can still do that. But the action with the redfish has been kind of hard to pass up over here with all of this grass. We don't get to see grass this thick that often, so we're taking advantage of being able to fish it. Another nice 18-inch fish. And that one right there came off of a jig. We're right in front of the rocks this time, like I said, in a little bit deeper water, 5 foot, so we're using a jig head because there's not grass right here in front of the rocks. But when we go behind the rocks and fish the ponds, that's when we're using that weedless matrix shad. That way you can cut through the grass and keep it on top, almost like a ribbit frog or something. We caught a few bass in here the other day also.
He is feisty. Decent fish.
All right, once again, we've been talking about, we're also talking about colors, and we're talking about the action of the lure, the new Matrix Shad coming out from DockSide Bait and Tackle. Some of the colors that we're putting together are some of the colors that we've come to use throughout, you know, years of fishing over here, fishing the lake, trying to find that color that's in this stained water. You gotta have something that'll show up. Redfish are greedy, they'll eat anything, but they still need to see it. And as long as you can swim it by them and they have something they can see with the action of this tail on this bait that's swimming by them, it makes it almost irresistible. You know, so if you're fishing these rocks or fishing anywhere in the lake, you know, stop by DockSide Bait and Tackle, pick up a pack of Matrix Shads. You know, somebody in there is going to be able to give you the color to the lure that we've been sticking them on to try to guide you the right direction, you know, and go pick up you a mess of redfish like this, another 18-inch redfish for the box.
We still just in front of this cut, jigging these Matrix Shads off the bottom. And we make a jig head over at DockSide that we pour too. We just call it the Golden Eye. It's got gold eyes on it. A little 3/0 bronze hook. We make it in a 1/4 ounce of 5/16 and a 3/8. This one swallowed it down at a gill. And it's holding up real good on these redfish. Right now I'm using that chartreuse colored Matrix Shad with the gold eye on the Golden Eye jig. And like Chris said before, that chartreuse white color, like real obnoxiously bright colors, is what you want to go with. That way the redfish can see the lure in this dingy spillway stained water that we're dealing with in the lake. Well, double up action now. Mel's got a nice one, about 18-20 inches. Flipping them in the boat. Oh! These redfish are really ganging up in front of these cuts with that black filtered water. That grass, what it does, it's going to filter that fresh, dirty water clean. Acts like a filter in an aquarium. And when the tide's coming out of these cuts here, them redfish are just ganging up in that dirty water, I'd imagine. And then when them bait fish come out in that clean water, they're just ambushing. This is our second consecutive day in a row where we're just catching redfish one after the other. Show them that red you got, Mel. Perfect size for the grill. We haven't not been catching any speckled trout on this side of the lake on this shoreline, but redfish and a few bass. You can't beat it. Hooked up with another one. If you're looking for something to do with the kids or the wife for this weekend, this July 4th weekend, you don't necessarily have to use lures. You can just focus on all these cuts in the rocks with dead shrimp, live shrimp. These little 18 to 27-inch redfish they're over here, guys, and you can use lures if you want, but you can just simply anchor out in front of the cuts and wait for the redfish to swim on by. Don't miss this good redfish action just because the spillway is open.
As Jazz was just mentioning, all we've been doing is bouncing around from duck pond to duck pond. As you can see, the openings right here with the grass in the background. Those fish tend to congregate right in the mouth of this lagoon right here. Once the water starts pushing out of it, it'll push the rest of the bait out here, and those redfish will sit there and stack up in the mouth of these canals, and you can probably limit out in a couple hours just bouncing around from canal to canal or from duck pond to duck pond. Already using a little 5/16 ounce jig with the Matrix Shad on it, and the colors we picked today are colors that's probably going to show up in this water. This water's kind of dingy. The water that's coming out of the pond is clean, but the water that's sitting outside of the lake is actually kind of dingy. So you want something that's going to show up like a lime color or a little bit darker color. All right, another one for the box.
Get there. The green light's on. Ooh, ooh.
The red light's on. Like record.
Get up, Buster. I need a net now. That's probably the same one that blew up on me earlier. And what we doing right now is I switched to a flutter hook. Here goes the lure. Just came off the hook. And just swimming it over the little holes in the rocks. That way my jig head don't get snagged. With the flutter hook, you can rig it weedless. Just swimming across those rocks. Pretty nice fish right here. It's a good 8-pound fish. That's the kind of hook. The lure came off during the middle of the fight. Just a little flutter hook, like an 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce. That way you can rig the lure weedless. Work it over the grass, which is extremely thick in here. Work it over the rocks too. That one came right over the rocks.
You know these matrix are good if a rookie can catch them.
Nice fish, man. Nice fish, man. Guys, we got them rolling right now. That's gonna be the last one we're gonna put on film because we're trying to do a little bit of fishing also. If you want to see more fish like that, come on out to DockSide Bait and Tackle, July 4th weekend. Get you some dead shrimp, get you some live shrimp. Come out here, sit on these rocks, you know, bounce around from spot to spot. They may not be at every cut, but once you find them, they'll be loaded in there. Come on over, get you some live bait, get you some dead bait. Somebody is gonna point you in the right direction. Also, pick up a pack of the lures. You know, the Matrix Shad that's coming out, you'll catch them on anything. Once you get rolling on dead shrimp, you'll catch them on anything. So come on down. If you want to see more fish like that, come on down and catch them yourself.
There you go.
I'm going back to fishing, man.